Paraguay for that top spot, and they themselves with ambitions to be amongst the greats in Italy next summer. They haven't been in the World Cup finals themselves since 1962. A tremendous atmosphere here, all to play for. Colombia leading from the first leg by that solitary goal from the substitute Izuriaga. No doubt about his credentials as the hero of Colombia following that decisive second half goal. And we'll give you a rundown now on the Colombian starting lineup this afternoon. In fact, it's early evening here in Tel Aviv. Darkness has come quickly to this Middle Eastern town. And just look at that as the smoke bombs swirl across the stadium here. Here's the Colombian lineup. In goal, Higuita, once again, of course, one of the most flamboyant and unpredictable of South America's keepers. Escobar and Perez at the back, the two centre-backs. Alexis Mendoza comes into the side. Carlos Hoyos, he was missing from the first leg. Perez, Redin, Valderrama in midfield, of course, the captain there, Carlos Valderrama. Alvarez completes the midfield quartet, and they'll be looking up front for, once again, the goals from Higuaran, the danger man. A change of referee for tonight's game, Edgardo Cordesol, replacing Michel Vautreau of France. He was our official for the first game, and let's hope the official tonight in black, Don, has as good a game as Monsieur Vautreau did in the first leg.
Yeah, the referee in the first game was, he did a super job. He was on the spot all the time. If it looked as though it was going to kind of boil over in any way, he quickly got on the spot, killed it, got the game on its way again. And obviously here again tonight, there's a lot on his shoulders. And if he has a good game, well, the game itself will be a good game.
Yes, all three officials tonight from Mexico, in fact. The Israeli lineup then, Bonnie Ginsberg in goal, Avi Cohen at 2, Yehuda Amar at 3, Nir Klinger at 4. It's Shmuli at 5, Nir Alon at 6, he was playing in the first leg. Moshe Sinai, Ephraim Davidi in midfield, Nir Levin completes the midfield quartet. And up front, it's Tikva and Ronnie Rosenthal. And the big news there is that Eli Ohana, the Israeli Footballer of the Year who plays for Mechelen in Belgium, is missing from that start lineup. So Eli Ohana missing up front. Ronnie Rosenthal, the danger man, all the focus of attention will be on him. He also plays for Standard Liège in the Belgian League. And without Eli Ohana alongside him tonight, I rather think that's a weakness for Israel right from the kickoff.
Well, obviously, I mean, he's got a lot of experience. He's playing the art of Europe. He knows what the game's all about. I would say he's got to be injured. He would be an automatic choice in the normal circumstances.
Well, he was substituted in the first game.
Yes, yeah. So it would be interesting to know why he's not playing.
The Israelis just going in for some last-minute calisthenics here. And there's no doubt about their preparation for this game. It should by now be absolutely spot on. They've been drilled, regimented, locked away in their training camp all week. They know how crucial this game is to their soccer ambitions here in the Middle East, where Israeli football, of course, has suffered throughout the years, principally in their inability to find top-class competition. But no doubt about it tonight, Colombia here before a sellout crowd, and the world focuses its footballing attention on Tel Aviv as Israel take on Colombia for a place in Italy. Well done. I'm looking forward to this. It should be a good contrasting styles once again, as we saw from the first leg.
That's right. I mean, Colombia is such a good short passing team. The problem for Israel will be getting the ball off the Colombians, because they're very clever at keeping the ball, and they're very clever on 1-2s in the heart of midfield. And once Valderrama gets on the ball, I mean, it's hard to get it off him. And that's what they're going to have to do well.
Well, no doubt about the man we just saw in vision there, Carlos Valderrama, the South American Footballer of the Year in 1987, and the fulcrum through which this Colombian side will play. I think if Valderrama has a fault on, he tends to come too deep, and he also wants to do too much.
Well, he wants to be on the ball. I mean, that's typical of a good player. I mean, they go and search out the ball. I mean, Johan Cruyff used to do it in Holland. You know, they want to go and take the ball. They can handle the ball, but sometimes you tend to think, well, they're wasting energy in their own half rather than be doing it in the opponent's half.
Well, don't forget now, as we await the kickoff here in Tel Aviv, it's Israel who have to come out this evening. They have to score at least twice if they're to go past Colombia and participate next summer in the Italian showpiece. It would be dangerous, I think, for Colombia just to rest perhaps on this one-goal lead. It's probably not enough.
I think what they'll do, they'll just keep things tight. They'll hold the ball, they'll hold possession, and obviously every now and again they'll hit it forward and hope they can catch Israel on the break. Well, but they'll definitely keep things tight. Well,
certainly they have men at the back to do just that. Colombia's central defensive partnership of Andreas Escobar and Luis Pereira have impressed us all throughout the Group 2 games thus far. The two strong men at the back then, Colombia, no doubt they'll come under increased pressure here this evening as we get underway in the first half. It's live from Tel Aviv, Israel in the light blue and Colombia in the red, defending the goal away to our left in the first half. First foul then of the evening, and that coming after just 13 seconds.
Yes.
And that's Ronnie Rosenthal, the tall number 11. Easy to pick him out of this Israeli side. The standardly aged danger man. So early defending inside the first minute then for the Colombian side. Higuita tends to come off his line, perhaps at times when he'd be better standing back and leaving it to his defenders. Let's see how he deals with a free kick. It's pumped towards the Colombian box. Colombia back in numbers. They haven't got it away yet, and surely an Israeli man offside. No whistle coming in, and a corner given.
That's a good knockdown there from the free kick. It created havoc. I mean, with a little bit of luck, a blue shirt could have been on the end of the knockdown.
So Israel making a confident start, and I'm sure this is just the start they would have wanted. Now Israeli director picking out Ronnie Rosenthal at every opportunity, but the corner is not a good one. As Colombia come out in some numbers, but it's Israel who regain possession. Down in front of us from the left flank, across to the far side. And the first touch of the evening for Higuita. I'm not quite sure how I'd feel, Don, in this Colombian back four, knowing that gentleman was behind me and liable to do absolutely anything.
I mean, it's confidence rather than anything else. I don't think it's... I mean, the dribble out was a bit... Obviously, that was a bit silly. But you've got to admire his confidence. He's prepared to come out there and sweep up behind the defence. He's prepared to handle the ball, and when he gets there, he doesn't kick it off the pitch. He actually passes the ball to a defender.
Yes, he's...
I admire his confidence in himself.
Well, he's certainly not short of confidence in an outfield position, and as we all know, of course, he's also likely to come upfield and take penalties should Colombia get one here this evening. My immediate impression right from the very start, Don, is that this is a completely different looking Israeli side than from the first leg. You know, they're come out full of aggression.
Yes, they are. They're going forward, and they've hit in a couple of diagonal balls. I don't know whether they're thinking that because they group round the ball, the Colombians, and they hunt in packs, is they're hitting the occasional diagonal ball.
Good early cross. Two Israeli defenders get it away only as far as Valderrama. Now then, still Valderrama on the ball. Three blue shirts around him, and he wins the first Colombian corner of the night. The number 16, of course, is Arnoldo Higuaran. Spring-heeled forward, belies his small stature. And we've already seen him heading crucial goals for Colombia through the early stages of Group 2. And a perfect example of what Don was saying at the start of our programme, as the Colombians keep it short, neat and tidy, and without any trouble at all, back to the keeper. They, of course, will be quite happy to keep possession, frustrate the Israelis, And with every second that ticks by for them, that's a bonus. And Higuita's off. And his first foray of the night.
Well, that was a Dave Besant dribble out, really. We do that in England at the moment.
That's true. That's stuff we're used to seeing in the English First Division. Valderrama looking for support. Alvarez, Reddin, all busy players in the midfield. Wilson Perez has made the full-back position his own this summer, has turned in some fine performances. The young man, just 22, whistle's gone, and that'll be a free kick to Colombia. From this distance, Don, do you think they'll pull out a South American speciality?
I'm sure they've got one in the pack somewhere. They've got someone who can either chip the wall or bend the wall. It's unusual for a South American team not to have at least one specialist.
Well, the number 10 on the ball at the moment is Bernardo Reddin.
It's just the distance. I think that it's just that little bit too far out for a shot.
Bonnie Ginsberg making sure the wall is correctly aligned. Mexican referee has the Israelis back 10 yards, and now then it's come through, and I was waiting for an offside flag there. It didn't come, and perhaps the Colombians had worked that move out in training. Alvarez then free.
Well, it was a clever
right.
free kick because they'd set the wall up, the Israelis, but they got no one on the width of the wall. They got no one in the space, in the wide position.
Alvarez it was, who was unable to deliver the cross, but it gives Colombia a corner, and after the early couple of minutes Israeli pressure, it's the Colombians themselves now who are back around Bonnie Ginsberg's goal. Corner from Wilson Perez, and that's a poor one. We don't expect to see corners of that calibre at international standard. Now Wilson Perez trots back to assume his defensive duties, and Bonnie Ginsberg it is with the goal kick. Showed us his pedigree in the first game with a couple of crucial first half saves which kept Colombia at bay, and could really do nothing about the one goal of the afternoon from Izarriaga. And some surprise to me, Don, that substitute's not made the starting lineup.
Yeah.
He certainly changed it around when he came on in Barranquilla.
Yes, he did. I mean, if you remember, they tried hard to go through the middle on their 1-2s, couldn't get in, so they went round the outsides. And the substitution helped them to do that.
Yes. Good play on the far side, the cross eluding everybody. And the tackle's really biting here in the early stages. But on we go, Colombia on the ball. The number 14, Alvarez, easy to spot with that black mane of hair. It's Israel on the far side, looking to get their front runners going. Wilson Perez, they've obviously worked out his susceptibility in the air, but on that occasion, the young fullback doing well. Here he is on the ball, looking comfortable, up to Reddin. Colombia playing it with some nonchalance now across the back four, and as you quite rightly said, Don, a very, very comfortable looking side when they're in possession.
Yes, they know they can keep the ball, you see. They're used to doing this, you know. They get little groups around the ball, 4s and 5s around the ball, and they hold possession, but with their head up looking for the break ball.
And they've got the players to do just that. Reddin, Valderrama. That's a poor one, given away. And I think that'll be a foul. As Levin is brought crashing to the ground. It'll be a free kick then right on that far touchline. And the number 2, Escobar, takes no prisoners. This big defender plays for the national champions, Atlético Nacional.
I'm afraid we'll see plenty of that. I think if there's any chance of an Israeli getting through, we'll be brought down.
Well, it's Escobar and his fellow centre-back Pereira now who have to deal with this Israeli free kick. Diving header from the edge of the box as Colombia bring it away on the near side. This is Mendoza. Swings a tremendous 50-yard ball, switching the play to the far side. Valderrama with a little bit of trickery. The Colombians looking good in the opening stages here. Their first shot of the evening, and it's harmlessly wide of Ginsberg's goal. But nice build-up.
Yeah, well, they're both looking for the same thing. Both teams are doing the same thing. They're building the play up down one side and then switching it quickly to the far side. Israeli with a long diagonal ball. The Colombians with just a kind of a change of play ball.
Israel trying to get a 1-2 going on the far side. And the ball's in there somewhere.
I thought that was a two-footed tackle there. I mean, I don't know what the defender is murmuring about.
Yes, Shalom Tikva was the man who wins this free kick for Israel. Once again, they're putting it in low and hard, and that one's no trouble for Higuita. Colombia on the break. Through Redin. What a tremendous ball thrown through for Valderrama. Onside. Well, neither a chip nor a shot in the end, and the chance goes begging. But a wonderful defence-splitting ball there.
Same thing, Redin. Yeah. Build up down the right, switch it to the left. In goes Valderrama.
If you've just joined us here in the first half, you're watching live World Cup football on Screen Sport. And there's no score here in Tel Aviv. Israel and Colombia. The second game between the winners of Oceania and Group 2 in South America. And tonight we're looking for another nation to join us in the World Cup finals in Italy next summer. Rosenthal so far has been forced deep. The lone raider up front is Iguaran. 3 blue shirts around him, but the whistle's gone. Avi Cohen, the number 2, not of course the Avi Cohen who used to play with Liverpool in the English
League.
See,
this ball here, you see, it was just a clearance really, but it's put the forward in. It's that type of thing that can find you out sometimes. You know, the concentration at the back's got to be super in those things, as you get caught on the break.
Yes, I think Israel were rather fortunate to get a free kick out of that, because the linesman certainly wasn't flagging. Here's Iguaran once again. Valderrama's to the right. Valderrama, can he beat Ginsberg to the ball? He can't.
Very good goalkeeping there, read the through, but that's what we talk about, sweeping behind the defence. The goalkeepers read the through ball, come out and got there before the forward. Good play.
And amazingly, Don, inside the first 30 minutes, we've seen Valderrama already 2 or 3 times breaking into the box.
Yes.
I don't think he did that in the first leg until the second half.
It looks as though he's got a more positive role.
Now as Colombia play the ball square, Wilson Perez on this near side. The Israeli defence are massed back in numbers. We've seen how competent their defensive formation was from the first leg, and the Colombians not afraid to try the long shot. And they're now starting to establish a little superiority here in the first half, seeing plenty of the ball. And it's already got some of the home fans around us whistling in frustration. Valderrama looks up, the exquisite chip towards Iguaran. He's crowded out.
The Israelis are going to have to work hard to get the ball back. I mean, they're so clever and so good at keeping the ball, the Colombians.
Well, I think Iguaran was looking to Senor Calderon there for a penalty.
Yes.
But a corner is all Colombia can settle for. And this is Redin on the ball. It's their third corner as we come up to the 14-minute mark. It's not a good one. Colombia will look to get it back to Redin. All the big men have stayed in that Israeli box. And look at this, Redin slows it down to walking pace. Israel push forward and trying to bring Wilson Perez up on the overlap. Down by the corner flag, turns in the cross, and that's easily cut out by Amar. And suddenly the crowd are on their feet and roaring in anticipation as Israel come forward in some numbers. But on the receiving end for the last 10 minutes, Rosenthal's header, and that'll fall for Mendoza. And he calmly picks out Wilson Perez, and the danger's past. Now then, they've given it away. Dribble through the middle, Israel here. Forced to backpedal. Just for a second, it seemed to be opening up through the middle. Colombia quick to choke off the danger. Well, it's a lively opening quarter of an hour, Don.
I think it's a hell of a pace at the moment. The ball's going, to both boxes very quickly.
There's a late challenge on the number 14 Alvarez. Play on. Colombia in possession, and already we see Redan, Valderrama, and Alvarez playing some neat little triangles around the 35-yard area, but now they need to deliver it into the danger zone. Tucking back, the foul is on the number 16, Iguaran. We've come into this near side. Well, that's a little harsh, really. A yellow card. First then of the evening. 17 minutes gone for that innocuous shove. And
well, obviously he's been booked for the second challenge. He's gone for the first ball, and the man on the ball's held him off, and then he's followed him, and then he's threw himself in behind. Took his legs.
Well, you can be the judge yourself. Was it man or ball? The referee decides. In any case, a yellow card against the name of Iguaran. We've seen far worse things going unpunished in our series of South American games throughout the summer here on Screen Sport. Free kick to Colombia.
If you look at the game now, how long we've been going? About 20 minutes. So it's the Colombians have had most possession of the ball, and that's bad signs for Israel.
Well, a goal for them on the break, of course, could change the whole complexion of the game. But up to now, they've really been pushed back, and they haven't seen as much of the ball as they would have liked. But things may be opening up for them now. Strong run from Rosenthal. Cross from the left, shot comes in. The volley goes harmlessly wide, but for a moment there, Higuita completely exposed.
Yes, well, that was a hell of a good breakdown, this left wing. The outside left did very, very well, went down the line. He had a little bit of luck every now and again, but he went for it. Virtually got to the byline, whipped in a great ball, super cross. Two players on the end of it without getting it on the target.
Yes, near Levin it was. The diving header just confusing the Colombian defenders, and Higuita happy to see that one blasted well wide. Shalom Tikva. And an Israeli chance goes begging on 18 minutes of the first half. No score, just to remind you, here in Tel Aviv. Colombia holding a precious 1-goal advantage from the first leg. And I think over the two games we've seen, Don, the first time Ronnie Rosenthal has really shown us what a fine footballer he is.
Yes. Oh yeah, I mean, he's very aggressive, and he does things that matter in the game. You know, he gets forward, he runs at defenders, he gets behind defenders. It's the only way to create chances.
There he is in vision now. The number 11 plays in the Belgian league for Standard Liège, one of the better leagues in Europe.
The thing about it is to get the ball to him as often as they can now.
Yes.
You know, a good midfield player now would have recognised that he is a danger, and he would virtually be giving him the ball every time he got it.
Well, conditions absolutely perfect here in the Ramat Gan Stadium for football. Early evening in Israel, and certainly not the stultifying heat we had for the first game in Barranquilla a couple of weeks ago. And as Don said earlier in the programme, the grass absolutely perfect. This is a stadium that England played on in February of last year when they entertained the Israelis to a 0-0 draw in a friendly international. That's a good tackle coming in from Fajardo. He's forced his way into this midfield. It wasn't first choice for the opening games of the Group 2 encounters. Very much a solid workforce in midfield. An up and downer, doesn't do the spectacular. But Colombia tonight perhaps looking more to their defensive components in the side to get them through rather than perhaps their attacking flair. It's the Colombians who still maintain a firm grip on the football in this first half. Coming up then to 20 minutes gone and still waiting for our first goal. The Colombians, of course, will be delighted if it stays like this. Just like a European Cup tie, really, Don, where the home side now know they have to get back into it and they have to score goals. Higuita has lost it. Now it's loose in the box. Shot comes in. Two defenders back on the line. Takes a deflection. And Israel, with a corner, the closest perhaps they've come to opening the scoring.
Nice ball in between the defenders. Keeper came out with his feet. He sets up a chance. A lot of defenders have got behind the goalkeeper, and it ricocheted. Oh no, the goalkeeper got a left arm to it.
Yes, Higuita recovering his ground from near the spot, diverts the ball away for a corner. And in fact, coming out to this through ball from Levin, Higuita makes contact, but only diverts the ball straight into the path of Ronnie Rosenthal. That's not a clever thing to do.
He did well in the end. Yes, he did very well in the end. He kept alert and got a deflection in. It was a nice 1-2 on the edge of the box here. Lovely return ball. In he goes, in through the defenders. Keeper does well, reads it well, gets out of the ball.
This corner then from the far side. And the referee's seen some infringement in the box. So Israel's second corner of the evening producing nothing but a Colombian free kick. But Higuita certainly rather fortunate to survive, although we'll give him credit for getting the second touch.
Well, that's the last 10 minutes. They've created two good chances, the Israelis. That's good stuff. They've got to keep it going now. And it seems to happen down this left wing, down this left side.
So Rosenthal it was, providing a shooting opportunity from just outside the box for the number 3, Yehuda Amar. And the Colombians happy to get the ball away for a corner. However, they survive, and now Israel just beginning to come back into the game somewhat. They have a free kick a yard inside their own half. Given away. Valderrama does likewise. Good ball in for for the Israeli front men. The cross comes over. Escobar. That's where he's so strong, and that was a decisive defensive header. Some slight hesitation there before Higuita eventually snaffled the ball, and a long kick down the left flank, releasing Higuaín. Early cross from Higuaín, flying Ginsberg punch. Clears the danger. Now there was real moment of danger there.
Well, it all came from a super alert goalkeeper. He's come out and collected the ball. He's got his head up. He can see there's one man up, but he hits the ball into the flanks, into the corners of the pitch. And the Colombian forward was onto it. And it could result in a goal as easy as that. You know, that's good goalkeeping. They're not only there to save the ball, but they're there to start the next attack flowing. And he's very alert there.
See it once again here.
It's got a nasty collision there.
Colombia proving their credentials on the break. And Ginsberg alert to the danger. This is Wilson Perez. Looking to go through the gap between two defenders. They appeal for a free kick, it's not given. And Efren Davidi gets to his feet looking rather aggrieved. They're rather similar in some ways to the Colombians in they're not fielding big men up front. The front runners Levin and Davidi very much looking to get the ball played through on the ground.
They're looking for pace up front. That's what they've gone for, both teams. The small, stocky player with pace.
So away we go once again, Israel on the far side. Mendoza was in quickly. It's Gallardo, midfielder, likes to get forward and get in a shot at goal if he can, but it's Israel now on the ball, and they've got men forward here. Colombia's back four holds the line, and once again they play their way coolly out of danger. Leon Valderrama. Now they're over the halfway line with Alvarez. Skips a challenge, and that'll be a Colombian throw-in. Yes, right under the referee's nose, near Klinger, the offender. The foul on Luis Gallardo. Colombians have taken it quickly and they've taken it short. Looking to get Perez up on the overlap. Both sides biting into the tackle, Don, but up to now it's been pretty fair stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean they are sliding into each other every now and again, but in general the referee's letting them get on with it.
Yes, on both sides, refreshingly here in Tel Aviv, trying to play football. Fortunately, the excellent job from Michel Vautreau on the first leg means that we've got no little wars or grudges being carried forward for tonight's game. Now, there's a dangerous back pass. Higuita fails to collect, may win a free kick.
Well, that's definitely a free kick. The feet was up there.
Yes, and Higuita will need some attention. Although I'm sure the Colombian keeper doesn't need to be asked twice to make a meal of things, but I think we'll see coming in here clearly that the feet were high. Well, not that high, Don, but...
Yeah, he's caught him kind of
Higuita's
top of the thighs or into the waistline, somewhere like that. Yeah. I think he's gone for the ball, but I think he realises the goalkeeper's going to be away.
It's the archetypal hospital ball, as they say in footballing parlance, and I'm sure that Mr. Alvarez Will not be in Higuita's good books come the half-time break for that back pass. However, Higuita's okay, and on we go. The whistles from the crowd as 50,000 Israeli fans here in Tel Aviv accuse Senor Higuita of a little Colombian play acting. And it's Israel 0, Colombia 0. The second game of 2 to decide which of these sides goes forward to the World Cup next summer in Italy. If you've just joined us, you're coming in from work, you're watching live pictures here on Screen Sport from Tel Aviv. And there's no score in the first half. 30 minutes gone. And Colombia thus far looking every inch capable of defending their 1-0 lead. Higuita once again 30 yards from goal. Now he's not going to go on the dribble from there, surely. Looks for the long ball down the middle, looking for Fallardo. It's Israel who pick it up. Off the Shmueli, the number 5. Redin, he's been rather quiet for the last 10 minutes. Valderrama, of course, almost inevitability between Redin and Valderrama. They have a telepathic understanding through the midfield, and they're seeing plenty of the ball in this first half. And as you can see, the busy figure of Valderrama keen to get on with things. And that's the second yellow card, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Against the number 5.
I think the Israelis are physically under a little bit of pressure as well. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of sweat pouring off the Israelis. You know, I wouldn't think they've played at this pace of game for a long time, some of them.
Well, certainly they've never played in a game with this much importance in their national history before. So desperate, of course, to partake in the finals next summer. And in fact, in some ways, this is the Israelis' World Cup final for them tonight, to get past Colombia. Ill-timed challenge from Wilson Perez.
That was clumsy rather than vicious, I think.
Runs into the Israeli man, ducks the shoulder down, and a free kick to Israel.
I think he was just making sure he wasn't going to let him go past him. Yeah.
Well, the Israelis have shown a keenness for going down this left flank in the first half. That's where all the dangers come from, but not with crosses like that.
Without a doubt, the left wing and the Israeli team are creating good chances. The danger's coming from there all the time. It needs somebody from the right-hand side to get on the end of it.
Well, Ronnie Rosenthal, who likes to pull wide to the left, he's used to playing, of course, in the national side with Ohana alongside him. Another player from the Belgian league who has a great understanding with Rosenthal. Tonight it's a different front formation for the Israelis, and at the moment the understanding is not quite there. This is the number 5 who's just been booked, Shmueli. One facet of the Colombian game that really has impressed me throughout their Group 2 games is the back four. The defence looks very solid for Colombia.
It's a European style defence, really. You know, they don't play with a sweeper. They just play forward across zone, but they do it very well. They hold the edge of the box. They'll play offside around the box.
And you can see once again they're in perfect formation, holding the back line. They're quick to come up and catch the opposition offside. There's no naivety whatsoever about this Colombian back four, irrespective of what Higuita might get up to behind them. There's a keeper liable to perform heroics 1 second and to make mistakes that would be almost out of place on a public park the next. But he'll be happy with the way things are going in the first half here in Tel Aviv, as the keeper is out to collect. It's Israel 0, Colombia 0. Colombia still leading 1-0 overall over the two legs. And if it finishes tied up this evening, we'll be having extra time. But at the moment, Israel beginning to just wonder where the goal's going to come from. However, plenty of time for them. It was a similar story for Colombia in the first game, of course, where patience had its virtue for them. And Israel once again running out of ideas once they get up to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, well, it's breaking that line down there, hold the edge of the box. They know if they run full, they're going to be offside. They know the goalkeeper's going to be sweeping there. So they hold the edge of the box there, and obviously it restricts the ideas. You've virtually got to go round that. You've got to go round the sides.
It's a good tackle coming in from Ricardo Perez as the Israelis threaten to get a shot in on Higuita. Now they're back on their own halfway line with this free kick, making progress with another. 10 minutes to half-time here in the Ramat Gan as night falls over Tel Aviv, and the whole nation glued to television sets around this Middle Eastern country. Capacity crowd here, and as you can hear all around us, making a tremendous amount of noise. Well, our referee showing he's not prepared to indulge any back chat from the players, and that leaves Shalom Tikva feeling slightly aggrieved as he limps away from the challenge. The blonde locks, of course, of Carlos Valderrama. Plays his soccer in southern France for Montpellier.
I think that the FIFA got it right with the referees. I mean, over in Colombia, they've got a European ref, and here in Europe, they've got a South American ref. I think it's exactly right. Yes, that was FIFA's ruling for these two games, and as Don says, certainly appears to be the correct one. Carlos Hoyos, the number 5, and that very much a defender's centre. No trouble for Ginsberg, who's been rather a spectator for the last few minutes. But Colombia now pressing down this near touchline, the number 17, the busy little Luis Fajardo. Likes to roam across, just behind the two front runners. He's playing very well, Fajardo. I mean, he's playing up there virtually by himself, and he's making runs from the centre of the pitch, virtually to the corners of the box, to get his freedom. And he's doing very well. Yes, Fajardo very much there to act as decoy. He's virtually a lone runner, you know. He has to get all of it and wait for support. He's doing very well. Alvarez has lost out here, however. But Escobar, this man is old beyond his years. Really an impressive central defender. Nothing goes past him. Higuaran wants to be careful, remonstrating like that. He's already been booked. The top scorer from the 1987 South American Championships. Ohana seems to have a free roll. He's kind of bobbing up all over the place. Yeah, number 11 Rosenthal, like he's got a free roll, he's bobbing up all over the place. There's the score if you've just come in. As we approach half-time, it's been a thoroughly entertaining first half here. All action and end-to-end stuff with both sides looking to attack and looking for goals. And there's certainly nothing negative about this Colombian performance whatsoever. Very, very refreshing indeed to see their approach and attitude to this game. And I think that's sensible, Don, because defending for 90 minutes is never an easy thing to do. Well, obviously, if they can get a goal as well, that'll virtually put the match beyond Israel. But it's the Israelis now on the far side. A nice ball releasing Klinger, and he runs smack into Escobar. But he does win a free kick.
And I think the Colombians have put an extra defender in alongside Escobar this evening. It's Carlos Hoyos, who wasn't playing 2 weeks ago in Barranquilla. So just a slightly more defensive look to their side.
They're virtually playing 3 centre-backs. Similar to how the Arsenal played at the end of last season, with the 2 full-backs pushed in, who go on the break all the time.
Well, it's frustrating the Israelis in the first half here. Certainly they're not used to seeing this level of competition, and I wonder if they have the footballing brain to unlock the Colombians' tactics. A very ambitious free kick from 40 yards, which is no trouble at all, to the team in red and blue. Just Iguaran is poaching up front, but he's not going to get on the end of that. So Israel, knowing that they need to be patient, they certainly don't need to panic yet. But as we approach half-time, they know the pressure will mount in the second half if they're to find a goal. And you can hear how the crowd springs to life as the Israelis get within shooting distance of Iguaran's goal. As yet, they've just on a couple of occasions produced shots to worry the Colombian number 1. One whistling wide, and one where Iguaran lost it in the box and got a crucial touch on the follow-up shot. Cross from Redan, it's too far for Alvarez. Strong running now, the Israelis bring it forward from the back, Avi Cohen. What surprised me, Don, is the way Rosenthal's drifted out of the game in the last 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes, he had 10 minutes where he was very dangerous.
Yes, we assumed him to be their danger man. But he really hasn't been given the ball. Free kick goes against Israel this time. And a perfect example of what I've been telling you every time the Israelis move forward into the Colombian half. The whole crowd here rises. No doubt this the biggest day in Israeli national football of recent years, if not perhaps in their entire history, only formed, of course, after the war. The Israeli National League has been a fairly short-lived affair, unlike the Colombians, and they've been playing organised soccer since the 1920s. Higuita, he's playing a game of his own at times, but at the moment he's maintained a blank score sheet over 1.5 games. And that's all to the Colombians' advantage as they slow things down once again. And it'll go all the way back. They can see the stadium clock here, as we all can, and there are just 3 minutes to the half-time whistle. This fascinating duel in Tel Aviv between 2 contrasting styles. The winners of the Oceania group, Israel. In fact, they'd already headed that group back in April of this year, before the Colombians even embarked on their World Cup trail, not starting their group of games in South America until August. And as I say, by that time Israel had already established themselves as the winners of Oceania, and they sat back and waited patiently for this side to emerge as the Colombians look to trick their way through the box and just taking on one defender too many. Fajardo, they're not to get a second chance, but the Israelis just pumping it up high and hopefully, and they'll have to produce something better than that. More imagination is needed if they're to get past this Colombian back line. One of the most impressive currently playing in South America.
This half has gone kind of in 10-minute spells. You get 10 minutes where the Israelis look as though they might get a goal or break something down, and then all of a sudden the Colombians have 10 minutes and they look as though they're going to get in and get a goal. It's going backwards and forwards.
Well, the pendulum swinging now once again back to Colombia on the far side, with time and space to deliver the cross, and that really called for a better finish than that.
Yes, that was a good attack.
Redding really stretching for the centre, and the right footer going well wide. Had more time, I think, than he realised.
Yeah, and he just jabbed at it rather than try and get it onto the target. Just perhaps just out of his reach a little bit.
However, the Colombians, when they come forward, are creating the better chances. They're finding men in space, and on that occasion, Bernardo Redding was not picked up. His late run into the box, and just unable to convert the chance. It's the final 60 seconds of the first half here, and the score Israel 0, Colombia 0. To remind you, if you've just joined us, you're watching live World Cup soccer here on Screen Sport. Well, there's no doubting the Israelis' fitness and their endeavour, but thus far...
Oh, they're having a go. I mean...
a cross which swerved off the outside of the left foot. Higuita forced just to check and makes a comfortable catch in the end, but the cross coming in there from Amar, the fullback, almost catching Higuita out. I don't think it's what he intended, Don.
No, it was meant as a cross to the back post, and it turned into a shot. But like you were saying, I mean, it seems to me that when they come, the Israelis, and try and play through the block on the edge of the box, they don't get anywhere. But when they hit these diagonal balls across the face of the defenders, for people going in behind the defenders, that create a chance.
Well, we're playing out the final seconds here of the first half. Number 5, Shmuley, is down holding his back. Play goes on, and we're into injury time. And in fact, Israel putting the ball out when in possession. And this strong man here in the heart of the Israeli defence is going to require some attention. And you could see how Ginsberg rushed from goal. He knows the cruciality of having this man stay on his feet and on the pitch. And there really was a crunching challenge, I think, against his own man.
Two Israelis clashed together, really. The player chasing the forward on the ball, and the other one coming across and sliding in.
And that challenge it was that caused Ginsberg to rush from goal in concerned fashion. Let's hope that Shmuley's all right to carry on, as the referee extends play here at the end of the first period. Well, I should think the Colombians will be more than happy with their first half performance.
Yep. Yeah, I would think that they'll be quite happy. They'll go in and they'll settle down and review what they've got to do in the second half, and they'll keep things just the same, I think.
They certainly settled to their game, the quicker of the two sides.
They'll just be waiting for the attack. They'll leave one player up the front, and Valderrama and Redding will go and support him as often as they can.
Now the trainer's calling for a substitution. Yes. I don't think Shmuley wants to go off, and it looks like he's going to have to, because he's certainly in some discomfort there. Looks like a back injury from here.
I would think the jolt of hitting each other there has just shook his back up. And
yes. Well, not unnaturally, of course, these 11 Israelis are dearly looking for glory here tonight, and I think that man's going to have to be forcibly removed before he departs the action. We're in the injury time at the end of the first half. Valderrama on the ball. Carlos Valderrama with the blonde locks, the Colombian playmaker. That's a good challenge on the far side. Near Alon, but he doesn't win the throw-in. And Valderrama will look to claim it back. Well, the number 5, as you can see, is still in some trouble, and I'm sure they'll be working on him throughout the half-time interval. There is the whistle, and the final action of this first half here in Tel Aviv. It's Israel 0, Colombia 0. Just to remind you once again that it's Colombia holding a precious advantage from the first leg, and remaining in the driving seat here. 45 minutes then for Israel in the second half to get the goal back and overcome this Colombian side, who up to now have looked the better of the two sides here. We'll be back after the break. Join me and Don Howe as we highlight the action from the first half and the whole of the second live here on Screen Sport.
There was nothing Mickey Mouse about the thrilling climax to the 1988 Walt Disney classic. After...
טקטי עכשיו לקראת המחצית השנייה. אנחנו לא מאמנים, אבל אני חושב שכבר המאמנים הורו על חילוף. אני חושב שאוחנה כבר מתחמם.
Welcome back to the Ramat Gan, and as you rejoin us here during the half-time interval, I'm sure that down in those dressing rooms, Don, the Colombians must be feeling pretty pleased with themselves.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they'll carry on the same way. They'll keep it tight at the back. They'll hold possession in midfield. They'll change the play every time they get the chance. They'll be looking for the occasional through ball around the edge of the box. They'll keep things the same.
Certainly Israel went out from the start to attack the Colombians, but they very soon found it rather hard to get the ball away from the visitors.
Yes, they did. And I also noticed that the Israeli coach was up and down off the bench time and time again. Obviously, he's got to get his players forward. I mean, it has to go on now.
Yeah. Well, as we await the re-emergence of the two sides, so we can look back to the highlights of that first half, where both sides went close, but in 45 minutes of play, yet to produce a goal. Let's see here Israel on the break in the first half. They're playing, of course, in the light blue. This is Ronnie Rosenthal, the creator of the first real chance of the evening for the Israelis. His cross, diving header, and that shot well off target, perhaps, but should have done better there.
That was a good move, a terrific run by Rosenthal. And when he crossed the ball, there was 3 blue shirts to 2 red shirts in the box. A goal-scoring chance.
Rosenthal does so well here. Pass one, then 2 defenders. The cross eventually reaching Shalom Tikva, and from just inside the box, he's well wide. Now Israel once again, this perhaps the closest they came.
Yeah, well, it was a clever 1-2 on the edge of the box that broke the line down, and then the keeper came out with his feet. It ricocheted around, and here again the ball should be on the target. The keeper did very well to recover.
Iguita slides in with the first challenge. Rosenthal guides it back, and the shot, Iguita in the way near the penalty spot, gets it away for a corner. Now Colombia on the break on the far side. Well, we said at the time that was a punch, but I'm not sure that there was contact from anybody there.
No contact at all. And here again they get caught on the break. It was a lovely ball to the left wing that steadied all up.
Yes, Iguaran's cross, and on the replay, eluding everybody from the same flank, and Redding should have done better there.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. It's the ball being delivered kind of in behind the right back for a run from the centre of the pitch to the left wing. There's the freedom there just to get his crossing. It's getting people on the end of it that counts.
That really was a gilt-edged shooting chance from near the penalty spot, but just on half-time, a misdirected cross which almost catches Iguita out, but in fact he makes it look quite easy.
Yes, not really. I mean, the goalkeeper was never really out of position here.
So there you have the scenes around us here in the Ramat Gan Stadium in Tel Aviv. The stadium sold out right to the final seat, but thus far 50,000 Israeli fans have seen the frustration mount as the half-time score remains Israel 0, Colombia 0, and of course that means Colombia, thanks to Izuriaga's goal from the first leg 15 days ago, they really have 1 foot already in those World Cup finals in Italy next summer. However, 45 minutes in which Israel, I'm sure, will summon every last sinew of strength to overturn the current position, and in the second half Israel know that it's do or die.
That's right, they've got to go forward, Phil. They've got to go and do the job.
Well, we'll see if Israel can do it when you rejoin us for the whole of the second half live here on Screen Sport. Join us for that here at half-time in Tel Aviv, where it's Israel 0, Colombia 0.
This is Screen Sport, the European sports network. Using the very latest computer-controlled equipment and high-tech satellite broadcast techniques to bring you the best sports action from all four corners of the globe. Entire championships, from the qualifying rounds through to the finals. Whole series from the first day of the season through to the last. And if it warrants world attention, we broadcast it live. This is real sport. This is Screen Sport, the European sports network.
The French call it rugby à 13. Eddie Waring called it
Rugby League.
Either way, it's French, it's fantastic, and it's on Screen Sport every week. And in November, we'll be showing the France versus the Kiwis test matches too. Catch the action every week on Screen Sport.
Still to come, Monday on Screen Sport. And it's a big kick-off into football action. And we're off to sunny Spain, where improving Barcelona entertain those fun-loving seniors from the island of Tenerife. And then, the rehabilitation of former world heavyweight champion Michael Dynamite Dokes continues with a 10-round match against Bobby Crabtree. Also on the bill, up-and-coming heavyweight Alex the Destroyer Stewart. Then it's highlights from the NFL as the professional American football season nears the halfway mark. Then Sundance Cycling sets us up for a rousing finish.
The teams are back on the pitch here in Tel Aviv. Welcome back for the whole of the second half. And the good news is that the Israeli number 5, who we saw in some distress just before the interval, Ophir Shmueli, is back and in the action as we're ready to get underway once again with our Mexican officials here for the whole of the second half. And it's a second half, quite simply, where Israel have to find goals because they're behind 1-0 to Colombia over the two legs. Colombia will be perfectly happy to play out the final 45 minutes. If it stays like this, it'll be they who represent South America in the World Cup finals next summer. And Israel's dream will be over. Well, Don and I were just surmising during the half-time interval whether we'd see some substitutes in the second half. David Pesanti comes on for Israel. The number 16 will be familiar to British viewers, and that man will be familiar to all our viewers. The number 7, the hero from the first leg, Izuriaga, the leggy winger, is on for the start of the second. David Pesanti, of course, who used to play not far from here at Loftus Road on at QPR.
That's right. Well, obviously, he's a good attacking player. He can get down that left side. And they have been creating a lot of their best play down the left side, so I think they've put him in there to try and keep that going. Yes. The Uruguayan substitution is the one I think that I mean, obviously we all thought Izuriaga would be playing.
Yes, we were surprised to find Izuriaga on the bench, but it's very much a rerun from the Colombian trainer, who Maturana. His name, this is what he did in the first game 2 weeks ago. Izuriaga, the joker, who came off the bench to win the game in the second half. And he's in the action now, and Higuita already is performing some of his circus tricks inside the first 15 seconds of the second. What a character. This man really will liven things up in Italy next summer, should, of course, his team qualify. They're 45 minutes away from doing so as we get underway in the second half. And it's Colombia in the red and blue, playing from right to left. I wonder what the England team will make of Higuita should they come up against him.
Well, obviously, you would ask any forward to be alive that he might do something kind of a bit silly for the sake of it, where they perhaps can find him out, cash in on one of his tricks, and use it to our advantage. He never seems to get caught. I mean, obviously, the Israelis, having played against him a fortnight ago, would think they'd be saying, well, you know, this goalkeeper, he takes chances. You know, you front players, be aware of him, see if you can find him out. But they don't. It doesn't happen. And
David Pesanti now, the player from Ex-QPR player, ex-Köln in the German Bundesliga. Can play full-back or midfield, left-sided. Age 27 now, 23 caps to his name. And similarly for him as well. He came on after 10 minutes of the second half in the first leg. He's in for the whole of the second, as is our man Uzuriaga, the number 7. And he'll form the front-running partnership now with Iguaran, Wilson Perez. Valderrama goes tumbling. Once again alert, the Colombian captain, quick with the free kick. This time it's Israel who bring the ball away over the halfway line on the far side. The number 8, Davidi, comes up against Alvarez, and what a good game he's had so far. The Colombian bench. National trainer Maturana, ex-international himself, casting a critical eye over his troops, and he knows how vital these final 44 minutes will be as Italy comes ever closer over the horizon for his side.
It's noticeable that there's not one Colombian trainer, the manager, the coach, there's not one of them sitting down. You know, they're all standing very alert.
Israel on the far side looking to get round Wilson Perez, and Higuita under no pressure. Now here's Uzuriaga with that characteristic leggy style of his. He very nearly profited from a good ball there and almost got a second bite at it. However, Israel will really have to watch this boy on the flank in this half.
Well, that's right. I mean, he must have a kind of a 9-foot stride. I mean, you know, 3 or 4 strides is in the back of the defence.
That flag means Israel are offside. This time he won't latch onto the ball from Valderrama. It's a poor one. Israel in the midfield. Tireless Davidi, who's really worked hard tonight for the national team. And there we see the leggy style of this daddy longlegs number 7. And immediately things happen when he's on the pitch for Colombia.
Yeah, well, he runs at defenders. I mean, he had to come inside there. He was forced inside. But the forward up front made a lovely little angle run. He slipped the forward in behind the back of the defence. And with a little bit of luck, he could have got on the end of the cross.
Valderrama has some space now in the centre circle. Oh, once again, that really is a poor ball from such a highly rated player. Colombia battle it back. And now it reaches the number 5 here on the near side, Carlos Hoyos. Making Israel do the chasing. I think it's fair to say, Don, that the Colombians do look a class apart at times from the Israelis.
Yeah. When they're on the ball, they look as though they know exactly what they're going to do, know exactly when to release it.
And it looks as if Israel are bringing on a second substitute. And the number 14, in fact, you saw him there. That's Eli Ohana. So obviously deciding that enough is enough. They're bringing on another attacker for a defender. And the only surprise to me, really, in a game where you know you have to win, is why Ohana wasn't on from the start. And he's replacing Levin, the midfielder, who's been trying hard to support Rosenthal, but really without that crucial cutting edge where it matters around the box. So Eli Ohana, the star striker for Mechelen, holder of a European Cup Winners' Cup medal from last season, is on, and he has just under 40 minutes in which to pull the game out of the fire now for Israel. This should be interesting, Don, with Ohana and Rosenthal up front.
Yes, like you said, it was quite surprising when they left him out the starting lineup. I mean, I think Levin was more of a target player, you know, a kind of a player you can play up to. Whereas Ohana, he roams around, he goes out wide.
And I think you can see the reason why there, Don. He's suffering from a groin strain, and hence the cycling shorts being worn underneath the national kit. So Ohana being risked then for the final 39 minutes. We're into the second half here in Tel Aviv. The score remains Israel 0, Colombia 0. Colombia, don't forget, ahead 1-0 from the first leg. And it's Israel now hoping to open them up here. Great crossing, and straight at Iguita, a tremendous save. Well, I don't think the keeper knew too much about that.
Well, he hit him. I mean, that was a great break, a terrific early cross, and Rosenthal did the right thing, really. I mean, he just put a foot to it. It was going in the net. It hit the keeper.
Look at that. Iguita perfectly positioned. Just stuck out a left arm and found the ball at his feet.
Super
and how grateful he was.
Nice and early in the back of the defence. Anywhere else and it goes in the net.
1 yard either side of Iguita, and it would have been 1-0 to Israel. Well, you can't fault Rosenthal there. Kept it down.
No, everything was right about it. It was just unlucky that the goalkeeper's reaction was enough to stop the ball going in the net.
7.5 minutes then of the second half, and only Iguita's brilliance denies Israel the goal they so desperately need. Well, the Colombian keeper, much criticised, of course, for his flamboyance and unpredictability, but on that occasion, perfectly positioned. And as Don quite rightly said, half a yard really either side from Rosenthal, and he would have known nothing about it. As it is, Colombia survive. The best Israeli break of the night fails to produce a goal, and Colombia are still in there at 0-0, but what a let-off. They have a free kick down in front of us, the number 5 to take it. There's Carlos Oyas. It's towards Izuriaga. He didn't really get his feet off the ground there for such a big man, 6'3", and that'll be a foul against the Colombian substitute. The golden boy of Colombian football at the moment, of course, after his decisive goal from the first leg. Well, it may not prove decisive here over the full stretch. And
that was just a silly challenge, really. I mean, it's a forward's challenge. He's got back and put his hands in first.
Well, certainly that last break will give the Israelis great heart. They've shown now that they can get around this Colombian defence.
Oh, yes.
And they put Rosenthal in there just a couple of moments ago. So the second half builds here in the Ramat Gan. The seconds tick down as we look for another contender to join us in Italy next summer. Will it be Israel or will it be Colombia? Here on the ball with Iguaran. And the tackles snap in from either side. Valderrama tripped. Shalom Tikva, the culprit. And perhaps the physical side of the French Premier Division has just added a new aspect to Carlos Valderrama's game, because I remember when they came over here, Colombia, to participate in the Rouse Cup, he was fairly easy to shake off the ball, but not so now. He's learnt to battle, as even the best of players have to. And a challenge there on Ronnie Rosenthal from the number 3 Mendoza, a clear foul. Rosenthal proving quite a handful when he goes down that left wing.
Without a doubt he is. I mean, he really should be kind of fixing himself out there now, and the ball should be kind of passed out to there as often as they can. He looks as though he's got the legs on the defence there. "55 minutes gone, and all of a sudden this second half set to explode here in Israel. Live pictures, don't forget, here on Screen Sport. This is World Cup soccer action. Israel and Colombia are battling for a place in the finals, and that one flashes just wide of the post. Iguita beaten, but for the number 10, anguish, and for 50,000 Israeli fans as well. Well, here comes a hard low free kick into the box, goes out to the edge of the D, and a hell of a good shot back. Just outside the post, just kind of curled away. Good low free kick.
Well, interestingly enough, at the top of the picture too, Israel is offside there as that came back, but the linesman kept the flag down, and that would have counted had it gone in. As it was, just the wrong side of the post, and Colombia on the ball now get a shooting chance of their own, and that one dips onto the roof of the net, and that wasn't too far away.
That was quick, good thinking there. I mean, the forward saw the goalkeeper off his line and hit a nice dip-in volley.
Luis Fallardo.
Just about 6 inches too high. Good thinking that.
So, suddenly the game has really come alive in this second half. 12 minutes gone and we could so easily have had a goal at either end. And all of a sudden the Israelis are beginning to blossom. Well, ran into trouble there, perhaps played the wrong option, and as the players get stretched, Izuriaga is just the man to profit from that, but using an elbow unfairly.
Yeah, the ball could have, on that attack there, the ball could have gone wide to the left wing. You know, they could have gone round the back of the defence.
But Carlos Valderrama, almost inevitably, amidst the mayhem, finds space in midfield to build once again another Colombian attack. It's a free kick to the team in red. The vastly improving Colombian side. If they do make it, Don, I think they'll surprise a few people next summer. There are no pushovers.
It will be a difficult game to play against them. They can hold possession, and yet every now and again they can get a man in. They're very clever if they want to around the box.
Free kick, Wilson Perez. It's tame and it's straight at Bonnie Ginsberg. Colombia's last appearance on the European stage, of course. They participated in the Rouse Cup in the spring of last year before England went to the European Championships in Germany. And neither our own domestic 11 nor the Scots indeed could beat them in that competition. Colombia coming away with 2 draws, a 1-1 at Wembley and a 0-0 at Hampden. Ball still in play, cross turned in and it's wasted. Drilled it in low, the number 10, Shalom Tikva, and acknowledges his error.
It's got to go across the face of the 6-yard box this time.
Front men waiting, but not receiving. And all of a sudden, when it had looked so comfortable for Colombia in the first half, Don, now they're beginning to get stretched at the back.
Both ends really are, both forward lines are creating chances now. It's a very open game.
And plenty of aggression coming in from the Israelis in this second half. That, of course, typified by David Pesanti. Those of you who remember his short career at Queen's Park Rangers. He does have a disciplinary problem, this boy, but there's no denying that Pesanti's shaken him up in the second half. And look at this run into the box here. Something perhaps to materialise at last for Israel. Well, a crucial defensive header there with men over at the back.
Well, that was good play between Rosenthal and Pesanti. And then in the end, Rosenthal attacked them on the run.
And it's Colombia straight back to the other end. That'll be a foul on the edge of the Israeli box. And this, of course, is the danger with this Colombian side, because you cannot afford to relax for a second. The front running of Higuaran and Fallardo, these two lively forwards. And he was within a stride there of getting in.
He was getting in. Without a doubt, he was getting in.
Well, really is entertaining end-to-end stuff here. It couldn't be more finely balanced. We're 15 minutes into this second half. Bonnie Ginsberg, who hasn't had too much to do in the second half thus far. He's just seen one lob just over the bar. And now he's got some thinking to do from this free kick. Valderrama wants to orchestrate things.
Big wall this, 7 men in the wall. Big wall.
Touches it to his left. It's charged down as Israel rush out. Back in by Alvarez, the whistle's gone. And Colombia are offside. And the passion here from the sellout crowd now really beginning to communicate itself to the Israeli national side as they raise their game, as they have to do. And I begin to sense that a goal's on the cards here, Don.
Yes, both ends.
Well, we wonder, can it stay like this for the full 90 minutes? If you've just come in and joined us, you're watching live World Cup football here on Screen Sport from Tel Aviv. And the second of two games sees Israel and Colombia locked up at 0-0 here in the Ramat Gan. But Colombia, just to remind you, holding a one-goal advantage from the first game 2 weeks ago. And the only surprise thus far in the second half is that we haven't yet had a goal. And number 6 is Ricardo Perez. And the referee, not surprisingly, reluctant to wave the trainer on, hoping that Senor Perez will make some recovery, and in the end, it's attention required from the touchline.
Well, this is where the referee's going to be on the ball.
Yes, I was about to say, Don, here with the final 28 minutes now about to tick by, he'll be aware of every South American trick the Colombians will look to pull, I'm sure.
I mean, there's the replay of Rosenthal's run, and there was 3 against 1 in the box, and he dropped on the defender's head. Watch it again here. I mean, this is unlucky. He can drop to any one of those 3 Israeli players. That's just unlucky.
In fact, there were 4 Israeli blue shirts in the box there against 2 Colombian defenders, as Ricardo Perez is stretchered off. And that's good refereeing, very quick to get the game going once again. The Colombians declining to put on a substitute until they've seen the extent of the damage to their defender. So at the moment, Colombia playing with 10 men. Valderrama looking to thread one inside the fullback for Izuriaga. Not a good ball. And there's no doubt that things have been turned around here in the second half, and it's Israel at the moment who have the edge. Can they now find a goal? Ricardo Perez rises from the stretcher, rather like Lazarus.
Yes.
Appropriately enough here in Israel, and he's back on the pitch.
I couldn't see him being too long.
Yes, I didn't think that injury would take too long to heal. However, Ricardo Perez is doing his best to convince us otherwise. And away we go with the action. Israel in the light blue. Valderrama, he's still playing well forward. Hasn't gone into his shell in this game. He knows the responsibility on his shoulders as perhaps the most talented and celebrated of the Colombian side. And he's worked well today. Likes to dictate things and cruise through games, display the full range of talents, but this has been a workmanlike performance, as it's needed to be, from the Colombian 11. And the Israelis are giving them plenty to think about here in the second half. Can Israel once again? The number 14, David Pisani, falls over. Ohana, I beg your pardon. Eli Ohana, who's come on, of course, now to add weight to this Israel attack, which did look just a little bit lightweight in the first half. Oh, and Iguita's clearance is not a good one. There's a Colombian down on the far side. An aimless ball forward. Easy for Ginsberg, rolls it back out to the defenders, and Israel want to get on with things. Alvarez will have to lie there and wait until the game comes to a halt. Now the Israelis finding their men with some alacrity. Alvarez still down and writhing. Valderrama, will he put the ball out? He won't. Forward for Iguaran in his familiar left-wing role, but Izuriaga had been sucked in by the play, and there's nobody wide on the far side, and it's Israel still looking for the goal that would tie things up. And we're coming up to the midpoint in the second half. Iguaran seems to be the coolest person on the in the whole stadium.
Yes.
In fact.
Yeah, he's got super confidence in himself.
And now Alvarez can get some treatment to that right leg. There once again, the Colombian bench. Uzuriaga, of course, on at the start of the second half, but their substitutes to pick from: Gomez, Ruben Hernandez. He played in a couple of the Group 2 games. Cabrera and Eduardo Niño. It's another stretcher this time for Alvarez. And to be fair to the young man, he does seem to be more badly injured than Ricardo Perez was a couple of moments ago. So once again, for the second time in 5 minutes, the Colombians are playing with 10 men. Can Israel profit from the advantage? Well, in ice hockey terms, they really need to produce what we'd call a power play here to put some pressure on the goal of Higuita and perhaps force a mistake from this Colombian back four, which has looked so solid throughout. They've been undone a couple of times in the second half and they've survived. And here they are holding on to a precious one-goal advantage as the seconds begin to tick down here in Tel Aviv. And suddenly the confidence of the Colombian defence is just looking at times a little bit harassed here.
Yes.
Well, that, for instance, was a rather wild challenge as Eli Ohana looked to slip away.
Well, they are prepared just to throw the ball forward now, Israel. I mean, they just realised that the only way they're going to stay in the World Cup they've got to get a goal, so their balls are going to go forward early and they're going to be direct, and obviously it'll put more pressure on the defence. Playing a split wall there, the Colombians. You don't see that very often over here.
And that's, of course,
the wall splits in the middle, so the goalkeeper can keep his central position.
That's right. That's to give Higuita a clear sight of the ball, and it looks like Sinai, who's lining up the blast from 30 yards against the foot of the post and behind for the goal kick. Well, it was the outside of the post, but by golly, that was close.
Nearly didn't work either, the split wall. It was a good shot. It's very unlucky.
Look at it again here. Higuita goes down to his left.
Yeah, he did very well, the keeper. He got across there. I think that should have been ducking inside the post if he got his hand to the ball.
Yes, seemed to have the ball well covered. Certainly,
yes.
The split wall there, controversial as it may be, seemed to work because the keeper saw it all the way and he watched it rebound from that post and behind for a Colombian goal kick. Moshe Sinai, the number 7, with the shot, and the number 14 going off is Alvarez, and on comes Gabriel Gomez. The number 8 replaces the number 14, and he's got just 20 minutes in which to make a name for himself. Well, I'm sure he'll be adopting a more defensive attitude for these remaining 20 minutes, because it's the Colombians at the moment who are holding the cards here in Tel Aviv. Throw in with Avi Cohen, the lesser of the two Avi Cohens in the Israeli national squad. This one plays for Jerusalem. He's 27 years old, and this today will be his 21st cap.
I didn't think that was a foul. The two Israelis tackled each other.
Well, certainly the number 6, Ricardo Perez, saw it the same way you saw it, Don. And I must say I was very surprised that the referee whistled up for that. And there's not a Colombian within a yard there of the Israeli player as he goes tumbling. So,
when those things happen, and then so they get a goal-scoring chance off this.
Well, this could be crucial for the Colombians were they to concede a goal from this. Debatable free kick right on the edge of that Israeli box. It couldn't be closer, could it, to the 18-yard line. And I wonder what kind of defensive wall Iguaran has ordered up this time. It's 3 in the wall.
It's supposed to be split as well.
Israel to play it short. Shot comes in and Iguaran takes it comfortably. And as you can see now, Colombia just playing with Zuriaga up front, but they're so quick to break. Now there's Valderrama, who seconds ago was the one man in that wall. And here he is, still on the ball, squares it across the box. It comes back to Valderrama as our camera angle loses it for a second. Well, he made 70 yards there in no time at all.
Yes, well, the keeper did well again. I mean, he made a good save off the free kick. And kind of within the next few seconds, he's got it up the pitch. And they're all getting out there and supporting the ball. That's good thinking there.
Anxious moments these for the Israeli bench. Zuriaga playing, of course, for the corner, and he's won a free kick. Well, those kind of situations of which we see, unfortunately, far too many in English League football, particularly when one team is defending and playing with the clock on their side. And really hard to see what that infringement was for.
Well, that's right, because he's virtually backing into the defenders. I know his foot was on the ball, but he was virtually backing the defenders, stopping them trying to get a foot in there.
So it's a free kick. It's as good as a corner for Colombia from this near side. Zuriaga, plenty of height in the Colombian side. Mendoza went in with the diving.
Gee, that was a close save.
Wilson Perez with the left foot, and that one always going wide.
The Colombian who came through the penalty spot was free. If he contacts the ball, he scores easily.
Yes, Escobar and Mendoza, the two central defenders, coming up for the free kick, and Mendoza it was with the diving header, timing his run to perfection and just not making the contact he would have wished for. So it's Israel now who have to build once again, and they know only too well that seconds ticking away all the time, and that in the favour of the Colombians. Could be in trouble here. Ohana threatening to burst through the middle. The Colombian defence holds, more defending to do with a cross. Higuita jumps. Ohana once again was the man lurking. And they've looked altogether a different proposition since he came on to partner Ronnie Rosenthal.
Yes, well, he's an extra player up front, and there are more Israeli players in and around the box. And the cross there was too close to the keeper.
We've been playing for 75 minutes here in the Ramat Gan. There you can see not one spectator will be leaving this stadium before the final drama unfolds in this second of two games between the winners of Oceania, that's Israel, in the blue. If you've just joined us, Colombia, the winners from Group 2 in South America. And it's 0-0 here in the second half, 15 minutes away from deciding which of these two nations participates in the World Cup finals next summer. And I should think, at the moment, although they're only just on the other side of the Mediterranean, Italy is beginning to seem a million miles away for this Israeli side. That's a nice piece of interplay which gets Zuriaga away, tricks the fullback. Now can he stretch those legs and get across him? He can't, but he can win a corner. In fact, I thought that was a corner. Zuriaga's not arguing, so clearly the last touch from him. And now, all of a sudden, a quick burst of his brilliance and the kind of things he can do.
He did David Pesante on a little push inside and go. He just played it inside square and went. And David Pesante was ball watching. And that was a dangerous moment for Israel.
And Bonnie Ginsberg, he's been ball watching for most of this second half because it's been one-way traffic. More or less from the off here in the second half. Israel in the light blue. Here they come once again. They've got plenty of men forward. Now what's the referee decided? A foul, is it? Against the Israeli player for pushing in? Yes, it is. Ephraim Davidi. That was Ronnie Rosenthal, who's on a couple of occasions shown us a clean pair of heels against the fullback down the flanks, and he needs to do it again here in the final quarter of this game. Zuriaga, however, once again threatening to get away. Well, the shot coming in is no trouble at all to a keeper of Ginsberg's class. But if it stays like this, it's going to be his name that will live forevermore in Colombian folklore, because his goal from the first leg is, at the moment, the one goal that divides these two sides. Sinai, blocked by a whole phalanx of red shirts. Ricardo Perez wants to claim the throw. In fact, it's a free kick to Israel. And they've taken it quickly. Here's Sinai again on the ball. Now Israel finding space on the far side. Here's Rosenthal. Play on, says the referee. Valderrama looks to relieve the pressure. Gets a good ball in for Fajardo. And a reverse pass sets Uzuriaga once again on his long-legged way. Now that's a poor one, but when he's in control of the ball, he's difficult to shake off.
And when he plays and runs, he loses Debbie Presenter.
Tikva robbed from behind by Iguaran, but the referee decides that's a free kick to Israel. And we're inside the final 15 minutes. For those of you just joining us, coming in from work, you're watching live football on Screen Sport from Tel Aviv, where the score is Israel 0, Colombia 0. Rosenthal, and that was good defending by Mendoza. Nothing's gone past his number 3 here. There they are, the two men, the two stars really of the Israeli national 11, both playing in the Belgian league, Ohana and Rosenthal, and between them can they find a goal that will breathe fresh life back into Israel's World Cup.
He's the man, Rosenthal, really. Every time the ball gets around him, he looks as though he's going to go past the fullback.
Iguita's out to punch. Off the line, Iguita. Happy to see a defender there. Well, the shot. Had that one been into the top corner, that defender.
Yeah, well, he had to take it quickly. I mean, the ball that got knocked out. I mean, he did get it on the target, but they did well because the defenders dropped in behind the keeper. Just looked after the goal line for him.
In the end, it was all very comfortable for Andres Escobar, the hero. The saviour there, perfectly positioned to deal with the shot once Iguita's punch had fallen short. Cross from the near side, turned behind for a goal kick. So once again, just as we think the Colombian ship is about to founder, and they're looking as if they may concede a goal, there the big central defender Escobar gets it away off the line.
Well, I think they know exactly what's going to happen with the goalkeeper. They know he's going to go out to a lot of things. So as soon as they see him going out there, obviously they tuck round the back of him and look after the goal line for him. His punch was no good, actually. He got there, but his punch, instead of having a height and distance, he knocked it down. Just didn't reach it.
And as another Israeli chance goes begging, all of a sudden the stadium around us falls into a rather expectant hush. And certainly when the Colombians are coming forward as they are here, then a few hearts are in mouths around us. And that one blocked before any damage could accrue from Iguaran's run to the near post. And now it's Colombia funneling back to defend. Shalom Tikva on the ball. Luis Fajardo, he's had a rather quiet second half. And Colombia guilty there of a moment's relaxation. Israel immediately give them the ball back at them. Iguita, he's off. Here we go. And he's at it again. Would you believe it? He's up to the halfway line. Oh, and he settles for the orthodox short pass. And I thought perhaps he might have wanted to go all the way. And now he's got to backpedal furiously to regain his position between the posts. What a player. What a character. I'd love to see this chap in Italy next summer, I really would.
Yes, they would, I think so, yeah.
And he's still at it.
I know what the trainer thinks.
Yes, look at him laughing all over his face. I'm not sure whether the trainer, Maturana, or the coach is laughing.
I don't think so.
Well, he's certainly going to liven things up next June if he makes the trip to Italy, that's for sure.
Every time he goes on one of those dribbles, it knocks years off the coach's life.
lightning almost striking twice, because when he did that in the first leg, the Israeli defenders just stood there and almost watched him go past them. And there he almost did it again. Couldn't believe what was happening in front of their eyes. Oh, good ball in. And Israel have given it away. Izuriaga against the post and behind for a corner.
Little bit of dreaming there in the Israeli defence. I mean, they cleared the first sign of danger. It went between two defenders and they looked at each other and nobody played it.
Oh yes, Ginsberg was beaten there. And back off the left-hand post.
Yeah, they leave it to each other and Izuriaga gets on it, gets his shot in. He could have squeezed by that near post.
Well, that of course is the beauty of this long-legged number 7, the way he just nicks the ball away there. And that evens it up. They've both had shots against the woodwork, and incredibly the score remains here in Tel Aviv with 7.5 minutes remaining. Israel 0, Colombia 0. And that goal, had it gone in, really would have settled things.
Yes. That would have sealed the game, yes.
As it is, Israel, of course, still in with every chance. And look at that once again. The management team, the coaching staff, they're all off the bench here. 50,000 people in the Ramat Gan wondering if Israel are going to find a goal from somewhere. Ginsberg comes, but then in fact leaves it. The Colombians themselves have given it up. But Ginsberg would have had no chance just a moment or so ago with that shot from Izuriaga. Thuds against the post, comes back to safety. And both sides now have found the woodwork here in the second half. And it really has been an enthralling spectacle here. All action. None of the time wasting that we so often associate with South American sides. Full credit to Colombia. They're one of the most untypical of South American sides, I think, Don, currently playing international football.
Well, they get on with things, don't they? You know, they play it nicely. Lovely touches.
And now Ginsberg taking a leaf out of Iguita's books. Anything the Colombian number 1 can do, and Ginsberg can do as well. What I like about this Colombian side is a remarkable lack of petulance amongst them. They get on with it.
Yes, they do. They pick themselves up. I mean, a couple of times they've lay there and the referees had to get the player off the pitch to liven things up. But in general, the space has been quite good.
Carlos Valderrama. Football artistry of the highest order here. One or two of these Colombian players will really be making a name for themselves on the world stage, I'm quite sure, when they play to a wider audience in 1990. Well, that's being presumptuous, because there's still 6 minutes to go here on my watch in Tel Aviv. It's 6 minutes for the team here in red on the ball to survive. And the celebrations will be loud and long in the continent of South America. They will be if this one goes in. And no doubt about it, that was the closest that they've come in the second half, through Pete's the keeper.
That was going to seal the game. I mean, the outside right's made a run inside the fullback, and he slid it with his left foot, but it's just rolled with a couple of little bounces outside the far post.
Almost in slow motion, and I should think the whole continent of Colombia there were willing that one to roll inside Ginsberg post. Well, my goodness me, how close can you come? And I'm really dumbfounded that Izuriaga does not find a place in the starting lineup of Senor Matarana.
There's the Israeli coach there, and I would think he's telling them, get the ball in the box. That's their only way.
Well, at the moment, Don, it's the Colombians who are finishing the strongest.
Yes, they are, yes. Well, they're getting caught on the break, the Israelis.
Here they come again, 2 against 2. Valderrama holds it up and in the end loses possession. And the referee wants the game to flow here in the final 2.5 minutes. And a goal now would really set the stadium alight. And the Colombians refusing to panic. They've taken increased pressure in this second half, particularly with the introduction of both Pesanti and with Ohana. And at times they've rocked and they've looked vulnerable, but they've held on, protected Iguita well. And I don't think many neutrals would argue with the result if it stays like this.
No. It could have gone either way, to be honest. But I feel sorry for whoever doesn't qualify. You'll feel a little bit sorry for him.
We think back to this Israeli side, which started on their quest for World Cup glory way back in March in a group which saw them having to travel all the way to New Zealand, all the way to Sydney, Australia. And that, of course, after Australia had fought through to win the first of those groups, and then Oceania awaited with Israel. And here they are now as the champions of that group, having travelled halfway around the world.
That's another thing the Israelis can't do. They can't give away silly fouls. It just slows the game down. They take their time on the ball.
On the far side, Wilson Perez, who will run and run. The 22-year-old fullback. Terrific shot that flashes just wide across the face of Bonnie Ginsberg's goal. And right to the end there, Alvarez still prepared to come forward and hit one from midfield. Always going wide, but a good effort here in the final 120 seconds. And the Israeli supporters now look to lift their side. So one final effort. Could this be it? Rosenthal!
That's what they have to do. It's just got to be thrown in there.
And Roddy Rosenthal
get on the end of flicks.
Knows he should have done better with this chance. Perhaps Israel's last of the game.
If it had been a right-footed player, I think he'd have scored.
Higuita happy to see the ball coming at a comfortable height straight to him. Just when you thought that the Colombians more or less had the game safe, looking the more likely of the two sides to find another goal. Right at the death, Ronnie Rosenthal. Live, I'm sure, to rue that miss. And the game really opening up now in the final stages as legs tire. And this is the man to take advantage of it. Izuriaga suddenly produces the most unbelievable cross, having done all the hard work.
Well, that's right. I mean, he's beat the fullback in the box. He's gone onto his left foot. And his cross, I mean, it's so overhit. It's just untrue.
Well, let's assume that he's a right-footed player. But that was a complete nonsense, having got himself into such a good position. And Israel have been unable to cope with him over both games. And it's looking increasingly very much as if his goal will be the one that matters over 180 minutes of football here as we come into injury time at the end of the game. And the score here, to remind you, it's 0-0 on the night. But it's Colombia now very much with one foot firmly in Italy for the World Cup finals as they lead on aggregate by 1-0. And Alvaro Izuriaga, the man with the priceless first leg goal on 72 minutes, I'm sure is going to become a national folk hero after this. I expect we'll be seeing his head on some Colombian stamps of the future. It just remains now for the referee from Mexico to decide how much time he's going to add on. There's certainly been at least 2 stoppages in the second half requiring stretchers. And Israel now 1 or 2 heads going down, 60 seconds into extra time. And they seem very much to have shot their bolt now, Don.
Yes, I think so. The final balls in the last 10 minutes as well as gone.
Desperate to get the ball forward. The light blue shirts trying to mount one last desperate attack. And there it is, the final whistle in Tel Aviv. We played 80 seconds of injury time. It's not going to be enough for this Israeli side. The Colombians celebrate. The whole bench invades the pitch. The crowd around us is silenced. Israel and Colombia fight out a 0-0 draw in the Ranat Khan, but it's Colombia who go forward and qualify for the World Cup finals next summer in Italy. Your final thoughts, Don?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's hand it to Colombia. I mean, they've done well. They've played it right. They restricted the Israelis to only a couple of chances at the best, and I'm sure they'll grace Italy. I feel a little bit sorry for Israel. It would have been a great lift for their country's football if they had gone to the World Cup. They have to get over it and they have to work on.
Generous applause then rings round the ground here for the Israeli side. They've let nobody down at all with their performance here this evening. For them, perhaps just one bridge too far, taking on a Colombian side who are now beginning to emerge as one of the better sides in South America. Ronnie Rosenthal leaves the field in tears, perhaps the Standard Liège player knowing that it was his miss in the 88th minute that cost Israel a place in those World Cup finals. Certainly a goal then would have taken the game into extra time, and who knows what might have been for Israel. As it is, no doubt about the team here who's celebrating. Iguita, of course, the Colombian goalkeeper, with his extravagances once again on the pitch, is the man everybody wants to interview. He'll be delighted. How we'll all look forward to seeing him grace the soccer pitches of Italy next summer. Colombia, once again, to remind you, have been victors of Group 2 in South America. They've come forward to dispose of the victors of the Oceania group here in Tel Aviv. Israel are out of the competition, 1-0 over the two legs. Colombia go forward to Italy, and on the balance of the two games we've seen, Don, I don't think anybody could argue with that.
No, I don't think so. They're a highly skillful team, Colombia. They play some lovely possession football, some lovely 1-2s, and I'm sure they'll be a force in Italy. You know, they could go, obviously, I don't think they'll win it, but I'll tell you what, for me, they'll go through their group. And there's just a little bit of luck here and a little bit of luck there.
Yes, they'll certainly surprise one or two sides next summer in Italy. Without a doubt then, the winners here tonight, the team celebrating in Tel Aviv, it's Colombia. Final score, Israel 0, Colombia 0. Colombia qualify for Italy. From myself and Don Howe, from Tel Aviv, it's bye-bye.